Hi there, and welcome to Scheduling Faith. All right, so today, this episode is focused on November the 9th through the 16th. So we're coming off of a full moon week, and we're coming into that quarter moon that asks us, what do we want to release as we step into the overview? But just as a reminder, it's still early in the month. If you have not read your monthly horoscopes, you can go to schedulingfate.com and get a copy of those there. There's also a horoscope for this week that kind of drops just a little bit more into the nuances about how you can work with it and co-create with it. If you're watching this on YouTube, you are seeing the Moon Gateway calendar in 2025. This is less than $5 a month. You not only get the calendar with my notes, you don't have to wait for the broadcast. You also get 20% off all reports sold at schedulingfate.com and working with me, whether that's a recorded questions or you and I sit down and talk in a Zoom meeting for 30 minutes or an hour. And of course, all those offerings are available to the public, but the Moon Gateway members get 20% off of those offerings. So it's definitely worth it if you use this discount even once. You're going to get paid back almost tenfold. All right. So November the 9th through the 16th. Now, we talked about the 9th last week, but I think it's always good to kind of just have a bridge between the two. The big thing that happened on the 9th was that Mercury moved into retrograde. Now, Mercury is going to be moving backwards from Sagittarius into Scorpio. It will not go direct until the end of this month on the 29th at 20 degrees Scorpio. So that very first part of Sagittarius and the very last part of Scorpio is getting a lot of heightened mercurial energy where we're looking at truth, but we're also looking at emotions. So emotional, spiritual truth, revelations that come up, anything that has an R in front of it is definitely something that you want to engage because it's not a punishment. There's actually magic. There's a gift there waiting for you. All right. So as we roll into Monday, the 10th of November, we are under the Cancer moon that came into effect on the 8th. And we're going to be working with the Cancer moon until 11:22 a.m. on the 10th. It's a busy Cancer moon emotional morning on the 10th. In the middle of the night, you could have felt a little anxious, a little bit of confusion about how you want to engage or heal something. That could have been a little bit of restless sleep or some kind of odd dream. But throughout the evening, and as we get into the early morning hours, there was optimism, a renewed faith, a new dedication to saying, you know what, this is working. I'm going to lean into this. I'm going to celebrate this. This is the win. And if you find on Monday that you're not doing that, I encourage you to switch gears, switch your vibration, find a way to celebrate what is working, because that's going to manifest more of the same. You're going to find creative solutions. Our void moon on Monday is only 11 minutes. It's very short, just a little time out there. So don't send out any newsletters or anything between 11:22 and 11:33 a.m. Central Time Zone. The moon will then move into Leo. Now, just as a reminder, a Leo moon is ruled by the sun. So wherever the sun is, we're definitely going to feel that vibration. The sun is currently in Scorpio. So we have a Leo moon answering to a Scorpio sun. So there's a lot of depth, a lot of intuition, a lot of psychic energy that we're working with, but also under the influence of Leo, it's passionate, it's very expressive, it's heart-centered, it's confident, it's magnetic, very dramatic at times. So what we want to do over the next couple of days is to express ourselves, not suppress ourselves. We want to step into the spotlight. We want to celebrate what is working. We want to have fun and be playful and follow our heart and really spread encouragement. Things that we don't want to do is let our ego rule. We don't want to seek validation. We don't need outward validation. It's all in the inside. We don't want to be too dramatic, and we don't want to ignore other people's needs because it's all about me and my ego. We want to be balanced with anything and everyone around us. We're going to work with that Leo moon all the way into Wednesday, later in the evening on that day. But once the moon moves into Leo on Monday, it could feel like you have a couple of power struggles, emotional power struggles, but you're going to find a way to take action, even if that means engaging or recognizing that there's a value system or something that's not aligned with your heart in a different direction that you may want to go in. But I think once you lean into that, you're going to find a lot of great ideas. Now, when we get to the 11th, there's a couple of things happening on Tuesday. One is it's the last quarter moon. So every big, full, juicy revelation that came through last week on Wednesday, now we've had time to process it. And we're going to say, okay, this is what we're keeping. This is going with us into the new story, but I got to let go of this. I got to release this. I can't do this any longer. And this is happening in that Leo house of your chart. So kind of zone into that. If you don't know where that is, you can go to schedulingfate.com. I'll show you how to make sure you know, like, this is my chart and this is the houses that Jamie's talking about. But there is something in that Leo house that you're realizing that you can't carry forward because maybe it's blocking your creativity. Maybe it doesn't feel right in your heart on one level or another. So notice those nuances, notice those aggravations or those tension points that come up on Tuesday. Now, on this day, we also have Jupiter moving into retrograde. Now, the retrograde of Jupiter, if you were born with Jupiter in retrograde, you're about to really recognize what Jupiter's been doing in your Cancer house because the light switches on. This is your time to shine if you have a retrograde Jupiter in your natal chart. Those of us who do not have a Jupiter retrograde, we're going to feel this energy differently. Jupiter's been flying through this Cancer house. It came in the summer and had a couple of tense conversations with your Aries house, with Neptune and Saturn. And once those two planets went into retrograde, it took off as fast as it could go through the house of Cancer, almost to the very end of it. And now it's going to stop and it's going to go back to the 13th degree of Jupiter. It's going to reevaluate and revisit everything that is put on the table. So there's going to be some emotional truths, emotional revelations. Maybe you're going to see something that you feel differently about because your inner compass or you're in a different place because all these other pieces started to move. Jupiter's going to help you reassess what is there and help you also heal because Cancer is connected to the ancestral spiritual tethers that you have. And these are not just the ancestors you know about. It goes deeper and further than that. There's some kind of pattern or childhood revelation or connection or something there that you can benefit from, but also something that you can change the pattern of and move differently with. So that's something that you're going to be re-looking at, rethinking over the next several months, wherever the Cancer house is in your chart. So on Tuesday, we have this quarter moon and we have Jupiter moving into retrograde. Beyond that, there's not a lot of conversations going on. I wouldn't say it's not a busy day because I feel like those two are going to be a lot to contend with, but we do have more action on the 12th. Now on the 12th, we're going to work with the Cancer moon up until 5:29 p.m. Central Time Zone. It's closing aspect in the square with Uranus, a bit of a truth bomb that kind of just comes out of nowhere or a reality check. But before we get to that point at 5:15 p.m., which could definitely spur how this is going to close, we have Mars conjunct Mercury. So Mercury's in retrograde and Mars is in Sagittarius. So this is action, passion, and drive merging with mind, communication, and intellect. And it's in Sagittarius. The sky's the limit. It's truth, it's voice, it's honesty, it's wisdom. It's a fierce momentum and it's speaking out. It's taking bold steps. It's thinking big, higher truths. So some things that we would look for with this transit is courageous conversations. I needed to say it. I needed to hear it. Strong opinions. If you have a strong opinion, be sure to listen to what comes back. Mental motivation. I'm awake. I'm out of the muck. I'm out of the mindless scrolling. I'm here. I'm present. Spontaneous travel or learning opportunities. You were always interested in something like this, and somehow the algorithm read your mind, and now this course is showing up, and you're like, you know what? I'm going to take that course. I'm going to feel clear about what that is because I think it's going to inspire something else. You definitely want to look for opportunities to write or speak or launch your ideas. Be passionate and a little bit impulsive, but with wisdom. Wise impulsion, I think, is a good way to think about that. I mean, it's tell the truth with courage, but tell it in the way that you'd want to receive it because everything is karmic with this energy. That's a bold, perfecting energy on the 12th. But of course, we always feel these energies on the incline. So you could have been working with this prior to the 12th, but that's the pinnacle point of it. Now, when the moon moves into Virgo, it's going to change the tone a little bit. Its first aspect is a square with its ruler. Mercury is in retrograde. And its last aspect is going to be a trine with Uranus all the way on the 15th. So over the next couple of days, it could feel a little bit like a roller coaster. Like you're starting to understand the little things. Like maybe like when we have this big, bold Sagittarius energy that's starting to peak around the corner because we're getting close to Sag season next week. But we're starting to also realize that there's truth in the details. And if we overlook the little things, we're going to miss the big picture. But just as a reminder, Virgo moon, under this energy, some keywords that we're looking at is analytical or detailed, we're organized, we're grounded, we're disciplined, we're thoughtful, we're discerning. There's a lot of health focus around this, but also service. We're observant and we're attentive. This is going to be a time to declutter, clean up, get organized. And wherever Virgo is in your chart, that's where you're going to feel activated. Like I have this in the 9th and the 10th. This is one of those days where I get everything ready for the month. I'm like that motivated to get into the details, but it's also where I refine. Something last month felt a little bit too basic or too intense. And I'm going to readjust how I present it as I go forward. So underneath these next couple of days, we would want to get organized. We want to focus on routines that support our health and well-being. We want to refine and improve and be of service and be grounded. and practical at the same time. We don't want to overthink things. We don't want to be hard on ourselves. We don't want to be too critical of ourselves or other people. We don't want to be too rigid. And we definitely don't want to block out creativity because we have the task. We want to creatively find a way to do the task that we're working on as we work through these next couple of days. But a side note, an undercurrent here, the ruler of this moon is Mercury, who is in retrograde, going back through Sagittarius into Scorpio. The revisions of that Mercury retrograde can really start to manifest and show themselves across these next couple of days because Virgo is going to see the writing on the wall. Something that you've walked by every day, heard every day, seen every day. Virgo is going to see it. And now you're going to unpack it. Or it could be a conversation that happened the last week of October. And all of a sudden you just get your coffee one morning. You're like, oh my God, that's what they meant. Like it all clicks. And because they meant that, you have this whole process that you're going to go through. Now, the 13th, underneath that Virgo moon, there could be some tense conversations. There could be some tense actions that you need to take, especially very early in the morning. And maybe all of this is just mental or emotional, or it's like you're taking your shower or walking the dog in the morning and you're kind of working out the argument in your head, or you're working out what you need to do and say. You work through the task. So once you start doing it, you're in flow. Because I do feel like you're going to be in flow by the time mid morning hits Central Time Zone. Moon is going to sextile Venus. You're going to be in flow with what really matters. And then the sky's kind of quiet the rest of the day on the 13th. And that's because I think, again, you're in flow, you're tasking, you're processing things that you need to process in order to move things forward. Now, Friday is much the same, but on one level, you're going to feel really motivated to lean into what's already working. On the other hand, you're going to feel like you're a little bit behind because you need to go in a different direction. And that's because the moon is going to be conjunct the south node, the Virgo moon, but it's going to be opposing the north node. So you're going to be assessing where you've gotten really comfortable and how far you are to stretch outside of your comfort zone and go towards that faded direction. And a lot of this could be emotional. I think you can feel it towards that very late part of the 13th on Thursday going into Friday. But overall, Friday does have a nice flow to it, a lot of ideas, a lot of suggestions. I don't think you're going to be overwhelmed. The biggest chunk of energy this week is on Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. But Friday is more of like, okay, let's figure out what we need to do, where we need to go from here. Could be a good detailing, cleaning, because again, we're underneath a Virgo moon that's ruled by retrograde. We're going back and cleaning up stuff. We're getting ideas. Now, as we roll into the weekend, that is a bit of a busier day, and we'll have the moon move into Libra at 3:43 a.m. So most of you will be asleep. The moon is only void for 35 minutes prior to that. The opening aspect of that Libra moon is a trine with Pluto, and that's on that day. And all the way to Monday of next week, the closing aspect is a square with Jupiter. So that we know over the next couple of days, we're going to be looking for diplomatic ways to balance and harmonize with power. And we're going to try to understand where our opportunities are that we already have and how we could grow from them and what we need to let go of in order to grow from them. But just as a reminder for the Libra moon, this is ruled by Venus. So we have Venus traits here, but it's also an air sign. It's about relationships and beauty and again, diplomacy. So keywords we're looking for is balance and aesthetic and charming and peace seeking and fair and just and cooperation. And cooperation is a funny terminology, and so is balance, because both sides have to give up something in order to win. So you lose to win, but you find harmony and you find balance. So a way that you would work with this energy over the next couple of days is to look for ways to strengthen your relationship, to look for that harmony and balance and beauty, and to really practice mindfulness, find peace inside and stillness inside so you can radiate that out and attract the same back. What you don't want to do is overthink, because this is an air sign that likes to think. You don't want to suppress your needs and overcompromise. You don't want to rely on validation from a partnership as to how good or bad a situation is. And you want to make sure that you're not avoiding conflict, because if you avoid conflict, that's how you create conflict. And we definitely don't want to be superficial as we work through these next couple of days. Saturday has a lot of energy in the morning, but the afternoon is more so about just processing and being present and finding a way to really meditate and drop into where we are. It's a good pause before big changes start to come in. And on the 16th, we have, as we finish this week, we have the sun in trine with Jupiter. So trines are nice, beautiful, flowing energies. But Jupiter's in retrograde. It's going back over something. And the sun is currently in Scorpio. So this is very deep, emotional, family ties. Maybe beyond this present life, deep ancestral psychological ties, but this is a flow. So there's some opportunity, there's some point of expansion through depth and finding your inner truth and your inner power that's right there waiting for you to discover. And I definitely encourage you to meditate and find a way to tap in and discover that. You want to trust your instincts. You want to stand in emotional power. You want to grow through self honesty and compassion. Really step into that authentic energy. Heal old wounds. Trust your vulnerability. Trust if you say this, you're probably going to find someone on the other side that says, yeah, me too. This is how I felt about it. This is how I survived it. And sometimes knowing that someone else was walking your path and they ended up where they are is reassuring. Whether it's reassuring, meaning that you've realized that you're doing way better, or reassuring that there's hope for you to do better. Well, one way or the other, there's a positive way to work with that energy. Again, it perfects on the 16th. You're going to feel it building prior to that point. All right. So I hope this was helpful. Remember to go and grab your written horoscopes at schedulingfate.com. If you have not hit like and subscribe or comment, please do so. That helps me continue to provide you free content. And while you're at schedulingfate.com, don't forget to check out the membership, the reports, and working with me. All things I love to do. All right. See you next time.